Have you ever caught yourself lying awake at 3 a.m., replaying a conversation from 7 hours ago, revising what you should have said? Have you ever felt your stomach drop because someone didn't text you back within 20 minutes? Have you ever worked 60-hour weeks for a promotion, got it, and felt nothing? If you've done any of these things, and let's be honest, then you're playing a game you don't even know you're in. And because you don't know it's a game, you're losing badly. But what if I told you that every anxiety, every disappointment, every sleepless night comes from one simple mistake? You forgot you're playing. You think this is your actual life, and that misunderstanding is costing you everything. So let me show you the rules no one taught you. Because once you see them, the game becomes not just winnable, but enjoyable. Think back to when you were 7 years old. You'd put on a cape and you were Superman. Completely, totally Superman. You'd fly around the living room saving the world from imaginary villains. You gave it everything, your full conviction, your entire heart. But then your mother called you for dinner, and you dropped the cape without a second thought. You didn't have an identity crisis. You didn't need therapy because you stopped being Superman. You just went and ate your spaghetti. What happened between then and now, somewhere around age 12, 15, maybe 20? You stopped playing and started believing. You became what I call a method actor in the theater of life. You got so absorbed in your role, the good employee, the responsible parent, the successful person, that you forgot you were acting. You started thinking this role is who you are. And that's when the game became a prison. Here's the first rule most people never learn. You are not who you think you are. The person you call by your name, with your job title, your relationship status, your credit score, that's just your character. It's the avatar you're playing in this game, but it's not the real you. The real you is the one watching, the awareness behind your eyes, the presence that can observe your thoughts without being your thoughts. You are not the anxious person. You are the awareness, noticing the anxiety. Let me give you a practical example. Right now, notice your breathing. Notice that you can observe it. Now ask yourself, who is doing the observing? Your lungs aren't watching your lungs breathe. Your thoughts aren't watching your thoughts think. There's something else there, something deeper. That's you. Your character, your personality, your history, your problems. That's just the costume you're wearing. And here's the liberation. You can take it off, not literally. Of course, you still have responsibilities. You still have to show up to work and pay your bills. But you can stop being imprisoned by your character. You can play the role skillfully without believing it's all you are. Here's the second rule that will save you decades of suffering. This game has no winning condition. Think about that. Really think about it. You were taught that life is a race. Get good grades so you can get into a good college. Get into a good college so you can get a good job. Get a good job so you can buy a house. Buy a house so you can, what? Retire? And then what? We rush through childhood to get to adulthood. We hurry through our 20 seconds to get to success. We grind through our 40 seconds to get to retirement. And then we sit in our rocking chairs wondering where it all went. But here's what they never told you. You don't listen to a symphony to get to the final note. You don't dance to get to a particular spot on the floor. The meaning is in the movement itself. Life is not a journey with a destination. It's music. It's dancing. The point is not to arrive somewhere. The point is to play. Pause for a moment, right now, and ask yourself, what am I rushing toward? What finish line am I racing to? And what will I have missed along the way? Got it? Good. Because here's where it gets even more interesting. The third rule is the most mind-bending. You cannot actually lose this game. Why? Because you are not just a player in the game. You are the game. Think of it this way. When you have a dream at night and a monster chases you, it's terrifying. But when you wake up, you realize you were both the one being chased and the monster. You were the entire dream. In the same way, every person who irritates you, every situation that challenges you, they're all happening inside your consciousness. In a very real sense, you are not a small, separate thing struggling in a hostile world. You are the world experiencing itself through the particular window called you. This isn't mysticism. This is mechanics. Every sound you've ever heard exists in your awareness. Every color you've ever seen exists in your consciousness. The entire universe, as far as you're concerned, is happening inside your experience. You are not in the universe. The universe is in you. Once you see this, really see it, your whole approach changes. When someone criticizes you, instead of getting defensive, you think, here's the universe playing the role of the critic. What can I learn from this scene? When you face a difficult situation, instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You ask, why am I happening to this? Because if you are the entire game, then you are not the victim of circumstances. You are circumstances appearing to yourself as challenges to make the game interesting. Now, let me be clear. Understanding that life is a game doesn't mean you become passive or indifferent. It means you learn to play with what I call a light touch. Think of a great jazz musician. They know the basic structure of the song, but they're always ready to improvise. They respond to what the other musicians are doing. They don't force the music into some rigid pattern. They flow with it. Most people play life like classical music with a very strict conductor. Every note must be exactly as written. No room for spontaneity. No space for creativity. But life is jazz. The basic rhythm is there. But within that rhythm, infinite possibilities exist. Here's a concrete example. Imagine you're having dinner with your family. Your uncle starts talking about politics, something you completely disagree with. The rigid player gets tense. They either argue or sit there silently fuming, ruining their own evening. The light touch player thinks, interesting. Uncle Bob is playing the role of the provocateur tonight. I can engage playfully, ask genuine questions, or simply listen without taking it personally. This is just one scene in the larger play. Same situation, completely different experience. The light touch means you care deeply about your moves, but you're not devastated when they don't work out perfectly. You can love fully without being destroyed if that love isn't returned. You can work passionately without being crushed when things don't go as planned. Let's talk about the hardest part of the game, dealing with pain. Here's a distinction that will change your life. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. If you stub your toe, it hurts. That's pain. That's natural. That's part of being human. But suffering is different. Suffering is the story you tell yourself about the pain. Pain says, this hurts. Suffering says, this shouldn't be happening. It's unfair. It means something terrible about me and my future. When you understand this distinction, you can experience pain without adding layers of suffering on top. You can feel sadness without the story that you should be happy. You can face challenges without the narrative that you're a victim. You can encounter setbacks without the drama that your life is ruined. Think of it like weather. Sometimes it rains, sometimes it shines. The sky doesn't resist the rain or cling to the sunshine. It simply allows whatever weather is happening to happen. You can approach your inner weather the same way. Sometimes joyful, sometimes sad, sometimes confused, sometimes clear. None of these states are permanent. They're all just weather passing through consciousness. Here's rule number 6. There are no mistakes in this game, only experiments. Watch a child learning to walk. They fall down hundreds of times, but they don't call it failure. They don't sit there thinking, I'm such a loser. I'll never walk. What's wrong with me? They just get up and try again. But we adults, we turn every stumble into a referendum on our entire worth. We think we should be able to do everything perfectly on the first try. We turn every mistake into evidence that we're somehow deficient. What if you could approach your whole life with the same attitude that child has? What if every failure was just feedback? Every mistake, just information? What you call failures are experiments that didn't work out as expected. What you call successes are experiments that exceeded expectations. But they're all just data points in the grand experiment of being human. The liberation comes when you realize you are not trying to get it right. You are exploring what happens. Let me ask you something, and I want you to be honest. What mistake are you still beating yourself up about? That thing from 2 years ago, 5 years ago, maybe 10, that thing you keep replaying? What if that wasn't a mistake? What if that was just the game teaching you something you needed to learn? Hold that thought, because here's where everything comes together. Here's the final rule, and it's the most magical. The rules of the game are not fixed. They change based on how you play. Most games have rigid rules everyone must follow. But the game of life is a collaborative improvisation where the rules evolve as you play. This is not wishful thinking. This is recognition that consciousness is not passive. Your awareness, your attention, your choices are active ingredients in how your experience unfolds. If you approach life with suspicion and fear, you tend to encounter situations that confirm your fears, not because the universe is against you, but because you're tuned to that frequency. If you approach it with curiosity and openness, you tend to find opportunities and adventures. Same world, different game. If you play the victim, you'll find plenty of people willing to play the villain. If you play the hero, you'll discover your own capacity for courage. Your role influences the roles others play around you. Your energy shapes the field you move through. Now, here's what you actually do. Because understanding these rules intellectually is useless if you don't practice them. Tomorrow morning, before you check your phone, before you do anything, sit quietly for 5 minutes, watch your thoughts like you're watching clouds pass by. Notice that you can observe your thoughts without being them. Notice that the you who is watching is completely calm. Even if the thoughts are chaotic, do this daily for 2 weeks. You'll start to feel the space between you and your character. Every time you catch yourself taking something too seriously today, ask, if this were a scene in a play, how would I play this role skillfully? Not, how do I win, or how do I avoid pain, but, how do I play this well? This single question will transform how you move through difficult situations. Once a week, write down one mistake you made this week, what you learned from it, how it was actually just data, not a judgment on your worth. Over time, you'll stop fearing mistakes. You'll start seeing them as interesting plot twists. Once a month, list all the roles you play: employee, boss, parent, child partner, friend, your specific roles. Then ask, am I playing these roles, or am I trapped in them? The ones you're trapped in, those are where you've forgotten. It's a game. That's where you need the light touch. Before we finish, let me warn you about the traps. Trap 1. Using it's just a game to avoid responsibility. This is not about being reckless or careless. You still show up. You still do the work. You just don't torture yourself about it. Trap 2. Spiritual bypassing. It's all a game is not an excuse to ignore real pain, yours or others. You can acknowledge suffering is real while also knowing it's not the whole story. Trap 3. Thinking you're above others. The moment you think you've figured it out and everyone else is asleep, that's your ego playing dress up in spiritual clothing. True players help others play better. They don't judge from the sidelines. Trap 4. Expecting instant mastery. You've been playing the serious game for decades. It takes time to learn the light touch. Be patient with yourself. So here we are. You now know the rules. You know you're playing a character, not trapped as one. You know there's no finish line, no ultimate winning condition. You know the game is rigged in your favor because you are the game. You know how to play with the light touch. You know pain and suffering are different. You know there are no mistakes, only experiments. And you know the rules change when you change. The next time you find yourself lying awake at 3 a.m., replaying that conversation, remember, you're just a very good actor who forgot to leave the stage. The next time you feel that stomach drop because someone didn't text back, remember, you're not your character's anxieties. You're the awareness watching them. The next time you're grinding through life, waiting for it to finally begin, remember, this is it. This is the game. It's already happening. Play skillfully. Play joyfully. Play with that light touch that comes from knowing it's all one magnificent cosmic dance. And remember, in this game, everyone gets to win, because everyone is you, and you are everyone, and we're all just one consciousness playing at being many. The game never ends. It only changes form. So how are you going to play today? Remember, you're not trying to win. You're learning to play. See you in the next game.